Hello everyone, this is Evan from BlazikenTCG, and today guys, I'm going to be going over my top 5 picks for the Pokemon TCG World Championships in Yokohama, Japan, later this month. So let's just get right into it. So starting off with number 5, this is going to be Mew VMAX Meloetta. So I think that Mew VMAX Meloetta is probably in a very good spot right now. I do expect there to be a lot of Spiritomb in this format, but I feel like this build of Mew handles Spiritomb pretty well because you can attach energies, the fusion energies, to your Genesect with Elisa's Sparkle. You can also use Ice Cube to just Lost Zone the Spiritomb forever if you want. So I think that this deck is very powerful, and I think it's a lot more powerful than people are giving it credit for. I think you're having a solid time overall against Lost Box, Arceus, and Gardevoir decks, and even Lugia. But I think this is going to be number 5. Do I think it could get top 8 at the event? Absolutely. Do I think it could win the event? Maybe not, but who knows. Number 3, we have Gardevoir EX. Now, Gardevoir EX is a deck that, going into NAIC, was kind of the deck that everyone had labeled BDIF, but now there are more counter decks to Gardevoir, and you are going to be having a slightly unfavorable time against Lost Zone decks. So I feel like it's still very powerful and maybe just lost some of the good matchups that it once had going into NAIC. But I feel like in the Worlds 2023 format, Gardevoir definitely does have a very good shot of taking it all home. If I was going to Worlds, would I play Gardevoir? Possibly. But there is one more deck on the list that I probably would pick over Gardevoir, but I do think Gardevoir is a very solid deck all around right now. At the number 3 spot, we have Arceus Pile, or really just any Arceus deck in general, I think is well positioned going into Worlds. We saw Arceus have a very dominant showing at NAIC, and I feel like the best Arceus deck to play right now is the Umbreon Pikachu Aerodactyl deck. I feel like this Arc Pile kind of has an answer for everything. You have the Umbreon to deal with your Dark Weak Pokemon, such as Gardevoir and Mew VMAX. You have Flying Pikachu VMAX to help against Lugia, Lost Box, Xianpao, and a lot of other matchups like Tinglu, Miraidon. All of those decks tend to struggle against Flying Pikachu, and then Aerodactyl is mainly just there to hit weakness against Arceus decks that your opponents might be playing. I think that, and also Aerodactyl is good against Lugia because you can stop them from using Summoning Star, which is very powerful. I think that Arc Pile is in a very good position right now, and to be honest, I would not at all be surprised to see Arc Pile just win the whole event. I think that it is in a very good position to do so. The thing that might hold it back is its consistency. If you play this deck to Worlds, just know what you're getting yourself into. You will lose a few games just because you open a hand with no Arceus and no energy. That's just kind of how Arceus decks go sometimes. But I think the Arc Pile is generally in a very well position right now, and I would not at all be surprised to see it perform very, very well at Worlds. At the number 2 spot, we have Giratina V-Star. I think Giratina is a deck that a lot of people say is the BDIF right now. It did not perform well at NIC, but now it is just absolutely dominating the online tourney scene. So I feel like now that it's been given the respect that it deserves, people could certainly start playing it. People will respect it. People will have a game plan against Giratina. But I feel like a lot of people probably will opt to go with Giratina. It absolutely destroys Arceus decks. That's the one thing that I think might hold Arc Pile back. Arc Pile has a very bad matchup to Lost Zone Giratina. So you destroy the Arceus decks, you destroy Mew VMAX, and you're pretty good into Gardevoir and even Xianpao and stuff like that. Lugia's probably a bit of a tricky matchup, but a lot of people have kind of stopped playing Lugia now because of Lugia's really bad matchup to Gardevoir. But the one thing that I think is going to hold this deck back a bit is its matchup to the number 1 spot is a bit bad. It's not unwinnable, but it is definitely a bit worse than your other matchups. And that is, of course, Turbo Lost Box. If I was going to Worlds, I would probably be playing Turbo Lost Box myself. I think Turbo Lost Box is a very, very good deck right now, because you have a good matchup into Giratina and Gardevoir, which are probably going to be two of the other most popular decks on the field. Mew is probably at least slightly favored. I mean, you definitely can lose the matchup. If the Mew player is really good, then they a lot of times will be able to beat Lost Box. And Art Pile is a deck, or Arceus decks in general, are kind of the deck that a lot of people have said Turbo Lost Box has a bad matchup to, but if you go fast enough and just start knocking out their V Pokemon very quick, which is something that Lost Box is certainly capable of doing, then I think Arceus is a very, very winnable matchup. So there you have it, guys. Those are my top 5 picks for Worlds. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.